Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's your boy SC1, and we got another breaker. I got the pleasure to meet out in the Mint Collective in Vegas. See in the background. We got Stephanie from Mama Breaks on the channel today. How you doing, Stephanie?
I'm great, Sean, and happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no. You know, what was great about the Mint Collective is I love being able to communicate with others in the industry. And I think the main purpose of the show is we like to get to know other breakers. We like to get to know other vendors, just other people in the hobby, because the hobby is supposed to be a community, not supposed to be kind of against each other. So I love being able to do these videos. Thank you for being on the channel, and thank you for taking the time out of your day. So tell me a little bit about Mama Breaks. How did this all transform? How did this start?
I actually started collecting first. So this was a little over a year now that I've been collecting seriously. I decided to do it to have something to do with my kids, you know, something that I love. I love baseball. I collected Pokemon cards and baseball cards as a kid. So I figured if I start now, by the time my kids are older, we'll have a pretty nice collection, right?
Oh.
And I got really into it, like everything that I do. I got obsessed. And I started trying to get my husband into it, and he wasn't buying it at first. And then we actually joined a break together, and he pulled some really good cards out of that, and he was hooked after that.
That's how it starts,
you know how it
right?
Is. That's how it starts. Everybody, you know, which is really cool. I think however you decide to do the hobby, everybody gets in for different reasons, you know. Some people like it's the gambling part of it, I guess you can say. But we do stuff like that for fun all the time. Like people sports bet, people go to Vegas and they do the slot machines. It's the same idea when you're opening packs, you know. And then people love the just collecting your favorite players or your favorite team. And it just gives you more of like when you're watching the game and you know you have that player's card, you know, it makes it more exciting too. It's like having skin in the game, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the cool part about how breaking's kind of evolved. Because before, as collectors, I'm an older guy, and I started off with baseball, went to basketball. I'm kind of dating myself, but we're talking like late 80s to early 90s when I really started collecting. And just like everyone, I kind of took a break from it. And I think with the evolution of breaking is actually a pretty great thing, because like yourself, I'm located in Southern California, and you all saw, if you were trying to get into the game 2 years ago, good luck, because there was no way for you to buy product. Even I'm in an area where there's not many hobby shops around, so I couldn't even buy hobby if I wanted to. Going into Target, going to Walmart, going to Walgreens, CVS, you know, these places never had any cards anymore. So breaking was a new thing for us. And to be able to just purchase, I'm originally from Chicago, so I'm a Chicago fan. And I like the fact that I could just buy a team, and that's the only team I'm collecting. Then you have the entertainment factor to it. And then you have the rush of the thrill, like, am I hitting something? Did I get something? You know, it's like playing blackjack, and then you got, an 11 on the board, and you hit a 10. You're just like, yeah, you know, it's that rush that you got something. So let me get into another screen here, and we're going to continue on this conversation. In the background, we're going to have one of your breaks. This is, let's see, where are we breaking? Recon, Optic, and some Mosaic Blasters?
Yeah, that's Optic retail, the
okay.
Purple and the auto.
Nice. So you say you're a baseball fan, so I'm assuming you're a Dodger fan.
Mm-hmm.
Lifelong?
Yeah. Can you tell because of the colors, or
that kind of gave it away. But also knowing I haven't met any Southern California natives, or should I say Los Angeles County natives, that are not Dodger fans.
You know what? Now, since I'm gonna move to Ontario pretty soon, and I've met more people in the OC, there are a lot of Angel fans. I don't know if they're like new or old, but it's definitely exciting to be an Angel fan right now.
It is. I just wish the record translates to the players. I mean, you have Mike Trout, and then you also have Shohei. Like, You have two players that are like generational players, and I just hope they finish over 500. You know, but yes.
At this point, I just hope that the Dodgers get Otani on board somehow. I think they can make it happen.
What
Cool for us.
the way they spend money, anything is possible. I mean,
Exactly.
you look at that payroll, and you're just like, oh my god, like it's like the new age Yankees. It really is. I mean, I'm not. Again, I'm a Cubs guy. I have a really good friend of my wife's. Her cousin. I don't know if you watch any of the Time Warner interviews after the games, the post-game interviews and stuff like that. But Jessica Rosales, she's one of the interviewers. That's her cousin. So I actually got to meet her, and we were at a family party and we were just talking and we were watching. I will never forget. It was playoffs, and she's sitting next to me and we're just talking baseball. She's talking about mechanics. She's talking about pitch location, and I was looking at her. I'm like, this is weird. Like, how do you know so much about baseball? And she breaks it down. She goes, oh, I interview these guys all the time. Blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, makes a lot of sense. So I love the fact I'm a girl dad. So I'm loving the fact that I got to meet people such as you, such as Sarah Layton, such as Claire from Show Your Slabs. I'm starting to see more of a women's presence into the hobby, which is actually really, really great. So with you getting kind of hooked, buying into breaks and all that stuff, what led into you to start breaking cards?
Well, my husband, so he knows that so before I started teaching, I was actually a manager for a big corporate company and I worked a lot of hours. And I worked all weekend, no vacation. You know how it goes. So one of the main reasons why I started teaching is because I wanted more time, more freedom to do other things, to have weekends off, to spend more time with my kids. But I also feel like I felt like something missing. You know, I wanted to do something extra, and not extra money necessarily, just build something on my own. So I tried a couple different things like tutoring and another like social media thing. But it wasn't until I found cards that I felt like this is something that I could really, be happy doing, you know?
Yeah, passionate.
And passionate about. And my husband's actually the one that was like, well, you should start breaking. And I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, let's do it. And he's very much a part of it as I am. We do this together. So we're a team.
Oh, that's cool. So it's just you and your husband kind of doing a thing. Is there a specific sport you like to break, or you kind of just break everything that you're a fan of and know the product of?
Mostly basketball and baseball, honestly. Well, yeah, football too. We do a lot of football. It just, I feel like basketball and football are more popular, and then baseball I do because I love, even though those are harder to fill usually. So.
Really? And that's the cool part about learning and doing these episodes is I'm starting to notice different breakers have a different style, different breakers have a particular product, and different breakers have a particular group. For whatever reason, for us, basketball seems like the harder ones to fill for some reason. Yeah, we
do really well on basketball.
Yeah, baseball, no problem. Football, absolutely no problem. Soccer, we don't do soccer. Hockey is what I meant to say. We dabble here and there with hockey. One of the guys, Cenosis, that's part of our group, big hockey nut. So we kind of let him. Yeah, we kind of let him do the thing because asking me to pronounce. Yeah, and me trying to pronounce the last names in hockey, forget about it. Like there's just no way I'm gonna be able to do it. So mainly breaking basketball, have you been a lifelong basketball fan? I'm assuming Lakers is your team.
No, actually. So my story with basketball is I grew up off of Martin Luther King Boulevard. Okay, so back in early 2000s when they won the three-peat, Shaq and Kobe, I would walk literally with my brother to watch the Laker parade when they won the championships. And growing up, where I grew up was just South Central LA. It was Lakers everywhere all the time. And you were either Shaq or Kobe. And I was the kid with the Shaq jersey. So I have pictures too. But, growing up Mexican-American, first generation, like my parents didn't watch basketball. They were watching baseball, and soccer. So my love for basketball started there with the Lakers and Shaq and Kobe, but I didn't have too much of like a connection with them until I met my husband, who's actually a Clipper fan.
Oh, okay.
He started taking me to games back when we started dating, like what is it, like 11 years ago, and that was when Chris Paul came to Clippers.
Oh,
So
Lob
that's
City.
yeah, so I started learning more about basketball there. So yeah, I would say I'm a Clipper fan first, then Lakers.
Well, that's cool though, because I mean, that's the whole thing. Being out here, it's always a battle of LA, right? I mean, sorry that the Clippers lost yesterday, but they still have a chance, right? You know.
Yeah, I think my husband was upset at that. I was like, don't they still have a chance? They do, but they didn't play too good. So
Well, it's also hard when you talk about, they bring in Kawhi, they bring in Paul George, and then these guys come to this team and they've only played like a little under 40 games together in 2.5 years. So, how can you expect the team to succeed when your two star players that you paid money for don't really play together? So, I think that's kind of rough.
it was definitely easy to see the disconnect there. And then Pat Bev didn't help with all the theatrics. So
Yeah.
Paul George was a little angry.
Yeah, so they still have a shot, but that's very interesting because, to be honest with you, we'll say about the same time, around 2001, 2000. I'm a I'm a diehard Bulls fan. Even during the bad years, I still watch the games, still root for them. It hurt, but I started dabbling into the Clippers when they drafted Lamar Odom, and then who was after that? I think Olowa Candy was one of them. But afterwards, Darius Miles, Quentin Richardson. Like during those years, I actually really enjoyed Clippers. Unfortunately, they didn't really do anything. But I've actually went to a few Clipper games as well. So the Clippers were fun. Laker fans are probably gonna hate me for saying that, but the Clippers were fun, especially during the Lob City days.
Yeah, and you gotta, oh, well, yeah, I'm super grateful I came into the Clippers Lob City. That was really exciting because I was actually able to, for his birthday one year, because his birthday's in the summer, we went to watch a couple of their first playoff games against the Spurs. I don't know if you remember that series, but that was an amazing series. They were like back to back to back, and they finally ended up losing. But yeah, it's actually affordable to go to Clipper games. I think people forget that too. Like Laker games are too much, so you can actually enjoy being a Clipper fan and sitting in good seats and all that, and not break the bank. So
It's funny you say that because I'm in San Diego now, and this Friday is Jackie Robinson's Day. By the time you guys watch, it's gonna be well after. But this Friday is Jackie Robinson Day, so I wanted to take my daughters to watch a Padres game, and you don't figure. And this is baseball. Baseball is usually a pretty affordable game to take your family to. But I don't know if it's because they're new payroll. I don't know if it's because it's Jackie Robinson Day. But even in the nosebleeds, they were running like almost $90 a ticket. And I'm like, what?
I would assume that they would not be that much because Tatis isn't playing.
Yeah, and
like
there's
the premium that Tatis brings.
Yeah, and that's exactly. And he's not playing. Yeah, granted, they still have Machado, but I mean, Machado is nothing what he was before. He doesn't keep the same kind of name as Tatis does. But yeah, I went on tickets and I'm just like, I don't think we could go, girls, because just to get us there, that's almost $300. So they're like, we'll go next time. I'm like, okay, cool. There's going to be many Jackie Robinson days. So as far as right now, do you mainly collect? Do you mainly collect basketball? Do you mainly collect baseball? What's your PC looking like?
Personally, I collect mainly baseball. So I love Kershaw. I have like a whole binder going. Dodger pitchers in general. So when I was growing up, my first favorite player was Adrian Beltre.
Okay.
And then, yeah, slowly as I started learning the game more, watching games with my dad and explaining to me, curveballs and cutters and sliders and all that, I became obsessed with the pitching part of baseball. So I think that the Dodgers in the past 2 decades have had the best pitching in the game. So I'm very grateful to have been watching, Saito and Gagne and all these guys. And when Kershaw was a rookie, that's that was the peak of my Dodger fandom there when Kershaw came up. Because then we started winning games, we started making the playoffs.
Yeah, I like Kershaw. I respect his game. I can't stand his delivery at times. I feel like he balks a lot and gets away with it. But you cannot deny his presence. And I mean, honestly, like, again, even though the Cubs beat you guys in 2016 to get to the World Series, I'll never forget how bad I felt for Kershaw because, that year, the year after, and the year after, I mean, the guy was pitching like every other game. And it's just like, how do you expect a guy to be able to withhold his arm strength that many times after going through 120 innings through the regular season? You know, it just doesn't make any sense. But hey, you guys wind up getting a chip.
Yeah.
I said you guys wind up getting a championship, though.
Yes, we did.
Did you go to the parade?
I didn't actually, because I was I pregnant at the time? I think I was. And it was still like COVID and everything was crazy, and I was going to school too, I think. So I didn't, but I don't know, the 100-game season felt kind of weird, so I'm excited to win a regular season World Series this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing too with basketball and the Lakers championship. I mean, we have this ongoing argument on our channel about whether the Lakers bubble championship is actually a championship. And
it is. I'm saying even the 100-game World Series win for the Dodgers, it is, but it's just different. It's not an asterisk. It's just, like I said, it wasn't to me as satisfying of a win as if it would have been a regular season, but it was just the circumstances. I think they still deserve to win. They deserve to win in 2017 too, but we're not.
Yeah.
You can't take them back. So
you can't. The trash can. I mean,
you can't take that stuff back, but it is what it is.
And that's the sad part about it, because you know the history, you know everything, and I think that's the hard part is when the cheating goes to that extent. How do you not have bigger? And I'm sure the Dodgers wouldn't want a championship by that way. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want to take a championship that way. But how do you not? If I look at Reggie Bush got caught cheating. Not caught cheating, but got caught getting paid. They took away his Heisman, right? They took away USC's championships. They took away their wins. So why couldn't something like that happen in MLB? I'm just curious. I mean, you know, I'm curious.
It's kind of weird. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, but I felt your pain. I felt your pain in 2017. Ooh, Anthony Edwards. That's a good card. That guy went off last night.
Oh, yeah, he
did. I like Anthony Edwards. I'm not a big basketball fan in present day now. I do watch, I do collect. But Anthony Edwards is one of those guys I do PC. I don't think
Anthony Edwards, Ja, right now, they're just unbelievable. So I think to me the most exciting players to collect are the ones that are exciting to watch, to play. It was really fun watching Anthony Edwards.
Oh yeah, Ja, I don't think Anthony Edwards gets enough credit, to be honest with you. They don't really talk about him. You see his stats. Oh, they did yesterday. I mean, they thought they won the championship though.
His calf fouled out, so it was all him at the end.
Yeah, but the TNT guys cracked me up with how they thought they were so Minnesota was happy they made it to the playoffs. I mean, don't get me wrong, but yeah, they thought they won the championship last night.
Well, that's Tab. He has a lot to do with that.
Right? So going back to breaking, so are you just breaking cards, or do you actually set up shop at places and sell cards? Like, what's your actual setup?
So I have an eBay store where I sell singles out of. I do breaks on Whatnot. I've done a couple on eBay, and I'm actually gonna start breaking on a new platform pretty soon. I should be able to announce it like in a week or two.
Oh, okay.
That's fun. Yeah. And then I set up at shows here in LA every now and then. So I usually do like the Union Marketplace shows with Alex and Wiley. Super cool guys that throw on amazing shows. Every show that I've set up with them, it's always super clean and busy. And I also set up with the AJ Dynasty mode. He does the shows in Newport Beach. Those are also really clean and they get really busy. So
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know. I mean, I'm so stuck in San Diego County. I rarely travel. Our main studio is in Orange County. It's in Garden Grove. And then
so Wiley and Alex are actually based out of San Diego. So they have like trade nights in Escondido on Friday
okay.
nights. Yeah.
Really,
And then Del Mar is in, I haven't even checked exactly where it is, but that's near San Diego, isn't it?
Del Mar is right before the city of San Diego starts. But yes, where the fairgrounds is right there to the right where the horse races are. I mean, it's a beautiful. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's really, really beautiful. It's next to the water. I mean, I'm such a spoiled nut now when it comes to weather, so I can't get away from San Diego.
I love San Diego. I want to retire in San Diego.
Yeah, they make us pay for it. I'll tell you that much. But it is a very beautiful place in terms of weather and all that stuff. I will tell you, sports wise, we do kind of struggle because you really just have the Padres. That's all the.
I wouldn't mind if the Clippers went back to San Diego. I would love that actually.
The city of San Diego is just weird with sports. They're pushing more soccer than they are any other sport, and of course now with their $1 billion in contracts, they are really pushing the Padres. But before the whole Machado, before the whole Tatis sighting, San Diego was there, but it weren't really there. I felt like the colleges, the San Diego State got more love than the professional sports.
San Diego State basketball's made the March Madness a couple times, right?
Yeah, they were just in this past tournament.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so they
And
made.
I love it when the Cal States and California State universities make it. So.
Yeah, the smaller schools. I think UCI was in. I can't remember. Was it in this year or last year? UCI's made it a few times for sure. Cal State Fullerton was in this one. San Diego State is made it a few times in the last decade, especially when Kawhi went to that school.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and
But he actually played in the same league as my husband's brother.
Oh, that's
He grew
cool.
up in Moreno Valley.
Oh, okay. So Kawhi still free. During the off season, he still lives in that Riverside, Moreno Valley area, and you'll see him driving around town still in his beat up 1998 Chevy Tahoe. It's so cool when you see a guy of that magnitude, still driving around. Another guy I watch a lot of golf, and another guy that's like that is Charlie Hoffman. Very well-known player, very successful player, and he does charity events out here, and he pulls up in like a beat-up Sequoia. One time his Sequoia broke down, and we had to push it out of the way. So it's actually pretty cool. So back onto breaking. So.
Well, I have a question for you. So,
Yeah.
do you think because Kawhi is like that that's why his hobby value is affected? Because he's a champion and his prices don't reflect.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the Tim Duncan, like not flashy, and
Very quiet.
you have somebody like LaMelo Ball showing up to the games and wearing who knows what.
Yeah.
People love it, Tatis is another flashy type that people love to collect because he's out there like that. So I don't know, that's interesting to me.
Yeah, no, I 1000% agree. It's funny is no one's ever really asked me that, and I think that has a lot to do with it. Unfortunately, it's all based about that star power and that X factor. If you look at the days, Jordan was flashy, but his prowess was what he showed on the court. LeBron's star power, in my opinion, again, I get a lot of hate for this, but I'm not a really big LeBron fan. When you're so self-absorbed, I can't give you a lot of credit. And so, like, one of the gripes I have about LeBron now is that how he's talking in the media about he wants to play with his son, which is great. I give you all the credit in the world. But it's amazing to me that you assume your son's going to make it into the league. There's millions of kids trying to make it into the league. And in my sense, that's kind of like collusion. You're like, how do you say my son's going to go to the league and I'm going to go where he goes? How do you even know
I feel like it's more of a thing to say, well, I'm gonna go with where he goes, like he controls these teams, but like being an owner of a team, I would, and if I had the chance to get LeBron James's son, I don't see how anybody turns that down. So I think
Yeah.
it's a 100% he's getting in. But you being able to play with him is another thing. So.
Yeah, even I respect that. It's like the Ken Griffey, Ken Griffey and Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. When they played and they both hit in their first games together. I mean, that was probably one of the best scenes in baseball ever, in my opinion, next to the Cubs winning the World Series. But when the Griffeys did
it, Gibson's home run. Come
on, Kirk Gibson's home run, the broken leg. I was out in California when that all happened too, so I'll never forget that, because when I moved here I lived in Diamond Bar, so I actually went to high school with Keith Van Horn.
Nice.
Yeah, Keith Van Horn, he was the tallest
right
kid
here
on campus.
Yeah. Ours right over there.
Yeah, exactly. just right around over the hill. But that's where I kind of grew up. So it's kind of weird. Diamond Bar High, it has a lot of ties to just athletes. One of the most recent ones that comes off the mind is Alex Morgan, the soccer player. She went to Diamond Bar High.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she went to Diamond Bar High. Professional golfer Kevin Na, he went to Diamond Bar High. So there's just been a few. I mean, there was. I went to middle school with this guy named Mike Burns, and he actually made it into the league for a few years, which is really, really cool. But it's kind of weird. Diamond Bar High is one of those high schools that just kind of, athletes just came out of. But I mean, back up to your breaking. We can talk sports all day, right?
Well, this is refreshing, actually. I think that sometimes we forget that we collect because we love sports. I enjoy the sports stuff.
Oh yeah, and I think that's the whole origin about it. One of the things that I love about the hobby, like for instance, we'll take the Honus Wagner card, holy grail of call cards, worth over $6 million, and what you're purchasing at that time and investing into is that piece of time. Honus Wagner's card worth so much money because he was against tobacco products and being pushed to kids, and the only way you could get cards at that time was to buy tobacco. So because he took such a big stance and they had to pull off all the stuff off the shelf and there was only so many in circulation, that was pretty cool. And so when someone ended up with that card, you bought that piece of time. You look at Jordan's rookie cards, you look at even LeBron's rookie cards to now, like you see the generations in Kobe's rookie cards. The generations of time. I mean, like now, Upper Deck doesn't even have basketball cards, right? Upper Deck doesn't even have basketball cards. Skybox was one of the big ones I used to collect. They don't even have cards anymore. So it's cool seeing the evolution of time, and that's why I get into the hobby. Is you're buying that piece of art. You're buying like the Mona Lisa. Not that the Honus Wagner is the Mona Lisa of cards, right? So
I like that you said that too, because it becomes the iconic card of the era. So like you see LeBron James's rookie card and you think, wow, that was Dwayne Wade playing, and and that's why I like to collect my favorite players of those iconic sets, because I think they're undervalued, because I could see a Shaq card in the 03 set and I think, oh, that's LeBron James's rookie year, and it's really cool to me. So,
yeah,
I like that. Those sets become iconic.
Yeah, and that's a cool part. Like going to the Mint Collective, I actually have a question for you on the Mint Collective. Going to the Mint Collective, and I don't know if you were able to watch the artist. No, you couldn't, because I think this was during the time you were on stage. But no, actually it wasn't. Anyway, the artists were on card, and I believe his name is Kevin. I can't remember his last name, but he was the creator of the LeBron James of the Ricky Patch auto. And so
exquisite Carvin.
Yeah. What was his name?
Carvin.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So hearing him talk about that time when there was nothing really like it, and he created the LeBron patch, the LeBron RPA, like that's crazy to me. Like when you start thinking about it, and now it's kind of like that's the cool part about being in the hobby now and from before, because I've seen the evolution of what it is now, and I'm kind of looking forward to that evolution of where it's going to go from here. that's the cool part. Seeing it
Yeah,
evolve.
you see cards like there's nothing that they can't do with technology now too. The Topps Chrome Black cards to me are beautiful. They're very underrated. With
Yeah,
that like matte finish of it, that's something super new. It's not I think in the future we're gonna come out with more than just chrome refractors, you know. But like you said, those are always gonna be iconic and we're always gonna want them. I'm just excited to see what else they come up with.
yeah.
It's like the rookie patch auto being a thing it wasn't before, and now it's like the grail for a player. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it seems like everybody has, and that's the thing where it's kind of weird, where it's kind of evolved to, because you had the Wiki Patch Auto, and then you started getting the patches, and then you started seeing game worn patches, and then now you have game worn and just patches. Now, so it's kind of like, wait, so you're giving me a piece of jersey that's not even his, but this one is his jersey. So it's just kind of weird how it's all kind of evolved. I mean, you know, I like evolution. I'm not one to throw a lot of shade onto things. I like to look at the positive and enjoy the positives more than the negatives.
Yeah, now that you say that, something that I've been thinking about lately is are they gonna do away with on-card autos? 'Cause we're seeing a lot more sticker autos than before too.
Yes, that is that is one of the things. So, speak of on-card autos, I was gifted this as from a friend. Oh, there it is. This is Topps Now, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo on-card auto. It's not great. It's just certified and authenticated by PSA. And on-card autos, it's great knowing that player actually held the card. Yeah, granted they held the sticker, but you know,
they didn't, because they could just, you know, it's like a sheet of paper with a bunch of stickers on it.
And they're just like a machine just writing through. I saw at the Mint Collective, I saw Brandon Moreno, the UFC fighter, when he was signing all his autos. I mean, he was just like a machine. I was trying to talk to him for a little bit. He's like, "Sorry, dude, I gotta sign all these. Just hold on." And he's just like a machine. But yeah, like that's a sticker auto right there.
Yeah, Allen Iverson, which is cool.
Yeah, one of my favorite players of all time. The guy
that talks about that pop culture factor there.
Yes, he brought that street ball to the league. You know what I mean? That street ball that I wouldn't want to go as far as say thug mentality, but he was pretty gangster on the court. You know, guy was. They listed him as 6 foot tall, and you know he's probably really only like 5'9", 5'10", and 140, 150 pounds. Taking it to a guy like Shaq that's 7'2", you know, 310. Like, it's crazy to me the amount of abuse Allen Iverson took on a daily basis. One of my favorite players. So, in terms of Mint Collective, I mean, you hosted one of the segments. How did that happen? Like, how were you approached to be like, hey, can you lead this panel?
It was actually Christina from Card Ladder. She put together all the panels.
Okay.
So yeah, she approached me about you know, moderating the breaking panel, and I said yes. This was back in November, I think, because if you remember, it was supposed to be in January.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how that happened, and I knew it was going to be Mike and Sarah, and then Kelly was added towards the end, and yeah, it was really fun. I'm very grateful for the opportunity for that.
Was that the first time you ever moderated?
Yeah, a panel, I guess I would say. Even if I really think about it, it's technically like my first public speaking thing.
Oh, so how was that for you? Like, was that nerve-wracking?
You know what? I talk about this a lot with people that ask me, like, oh, how are you so comfortable on camera and stuff like that. I always go back to, so I was a teacher during quarantine. And this was back when we didn't know that quarantine was going to turn into a year. So I remember March of 2020, the school getting us together and saying, hey, you know, we have to come up with a 2-week curriculum because the kids are going to stay home for 2 weeks and we'll be back after spring break. So it's kind of crazy. It's like 2 years ago now because I'm on spring break right now. And we just ended up never going back. And they told us, you know, you're going to have to teach the kids online through Zoom. And we were like, what the heck is Zoom, first of all? And they're like, well, you're going to have to, you know, teach with the camera on and talking. And I was I'll never forget how nervous I was doing that. It was so nerve-wracking for me having to see my face on camera and speak to the kids like that and have them watch me from a screen. I was like hyperventilating, and the worst part is that the kids wouldn't talk back. I don't know if you had young kids in distance learning.
They weren't young; they were older, but they struggled with it. It was hard.
Yeah, they had like their cameras off. I couldn't see them. I would ask a question. Hey, so does anyone have any questions? Silence. It was like the most nerve-wracking thing for me that I've ever done at that point. And I did it for an entire year, and you just get comfortable with it. And I feel like after doing that, teaching online for a year, I'm a lot more comfortable in general, especially in public. So being a teacher, I've done auditorium things, and I've spoken at graduation. So that's kind of like my practice, but I wasn't as nervous because I feel like I knew how to prepare too. So I had like a general idea of the questions I wanted to ask and stuff like that. And really, Sarah and Mike and Kelly were awesome too. They took the show. They made the show the panel what it was. It was really good.
Yeah. So after doing the Mint and being a talent on the Mint, like, what was your overall take of the Mint? Did you enjoy the show?
I had so much fun. I think that Vegas and sports cards go together. First of all, my husband and I, we had a lot of fun going to dinner and then gambling on Saturday and stuff. But yeah, getting to meet everybody in person that I had only known online was awesome. And it's more of like an industry leaders type of conference, I think. So getting to meet, Dr. Beckett, Sarah, Layden, a bunch of other people I'm forgetting now, but it was just that, to me, that opportunity was amazing. These are leaders of our industry, so it was an honor to get to talk to them face to face.
Yeah, and I think that was the cool part of the Mint, was being able to. I heard a lot of bad feedback from a lot of different people, and I get it. They expected a little bit bigger event. As a consumer, for guys like us in the industry, guys and gals like us in the industry, it's really cool to be in a setting where we can actually just let go and network and talk to each other. That was more priceless than anything to me, because there's a stigma out there and this is, again, leads us to why we do these types of interviews is, I break, you break, Sarah Layton breaks, but we all can talk to each other and bounce things off each other and just have conversations, and it's all good. I personally have been on break channels watching other people's break, and I'll just stop by and just say hi, and I've gotten my head bit off, because for me saying hi, it's me marketing in their break. It's me saying, hey, come to my break channel and buy into my breaks. And I'm like, no, like
that way.
Yeah, it's just like I just want to support the community, man. Like, but okay, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't know there was an unwritten rule, And that's the kind of the thing why I like doing what we did at the Mint. I mean, Friday night was nuts. CSG got everybody drunk, I felt like.
I was really nervous about that table, though. I didn't get a drink from that table, but yeah, that was really fun. And their big ice sculpture was pretty cool too.
Yeah, and you know what's funny, because they were the first and only drink I drank that night in the convention. And I kid you not, that one drink, it was just colored flavored vodka. There was no cranberry. They poured it right in front of me.
It's because you had to wash off the appetizers and the hot dogs. Right?
No.
That was awesome.
There was so much food getting tossed around. And then I took a picture with one of the guys. We got to meet one of the guys that breaks with us in person, and he hung out with us the whole weekend, which was really, really cool. And one of the things I love about being able to do this is meeting people. And I walked over to CSG. I took a picture of him with a block, and right after I took that picture, they handed me that drink, and he goes, "Here, just take this. It's freshly poured." He goes, "You just took a picture of me pouring it." I'm like, "Okay, cool." By the time I got to the other side where Beckett was, I was completely drunk by that one drink. I got to the Whatnot Crane. I wound up winning a blaster at the Whatnot Crane. I stopped by Gold Coast Cars to talk to them for a little bit. Really cool guys too.
You weren't that drunk then if you were able to get a box from the Crane.
Well,
that's pretty good.
Well, funny story. So I wanted the UFC blaster. The guy running the Crane goes, here, let me give it a go. Let me move this box out of the way so you can grab that one. And then he wound up winning a Hoops blaster. So that's how I personally didn't win anything.
Oh, and it's funny that you say that because I actually won the UFC blaster. I have a video of it too.
Oh, nice. So are you a UFC fan?
No, I just thought that was the best box in there.
Oh, nice. I'm a diehard UFC nut. Like, I've since the very inception, 1993 when they had the UFC 1, I've been following UFC all the way through until this day. And that product is so expensive. It's hard for us to even break it because, like, when Immaculate came out, I wanted to break it, but but it's like $1,300 for 6 cards. And it's just like, I don't know if I could break this, like, you know. And so I've been personally sniping eBay sales for Immaculate cards.
I think the Immaculate is a good buy right now because I've been looking at some Rose cards. But yeah, me as far as UFC, I only know the women. Like the first match I ever watched was Ronda Rousey. So I know Nunes, Cyborg, Rose, but the men part I don't.
So yeah, I actually,
Conor McGregor, that's all I know.
Everyone knows Conor McGregor. I actually support. I follow the women's division very, very closely. I think it's one of my favorite divisions, next to men's lightweight and men's welterweight. You could say those are my two and featherweight. Those are all my favorite divisions. And then the women. I mean, I love watching the women go at it. It's just it's like women's golf. Like my daughter plays competitive golf. And so watching women play golf, it's just a different beast. And for me, it actually helps me as a player to watch women's golf because it makes me, it helps me, if their swings are so slow, I can break it down. Where in women's MMA, I love seeing, because women most naturally are more flexible than guys. And so seeing them roll around and doing the jiu-jitsu stuff, like, I love watching that stuff. I love watching to be able. I mean, when Ronda Rousey was on there, like, I wasn't a fan of her attitude, but man, she was so dominant, and everyone knew what was coming. You're gonna get armbarred. Everyone knew what was coming, and no one could get away with it. You know, she dominated for so long.
The really cool thing about women's UFC to me is that I think that it's maybe the sport that men respect women in sports in the most. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but like men, sometimes they don't respect like women's soccer, women's basketball as like a real sport. But in UFC, it seems like there's a lot of men out there collecting women's UFC cards.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what it is. It's like just seeing how badass they are. I don't know what it is, but
yeah. I think too, training, like, it goes back to the training. That's one of the sports where it could be a co-ed train. Like, you could train with a girl and just know you're going against another fighter. I'll be honest, when I was a kid, I was in high school freshman year, I was thinking about doing wrestling, and then when the coach told me, like, you're such a small kid, you're gonna have to be wrestling against some girls here and there, you're gonna be okay with that. I felt weird about it because you know, during that time I was like, it's a lose-lose situation. I win, ooh, dude, you beat a girl. You lose, it's like, dude, you lost to a girl. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know the aspect of it, though, that it could be co-ed.
Yeah.
Because I remember my sister, when she was younger, she was like 6 or 7, she was doing jiu-jitsu, and she was always fighting with boys and kicking their butt. So that's how.
Yeah.
Because she's a big girl.
Yeah, the co-ed factor, it plays a big factor into training. You know, and on your note of women's soccer, I mean, our U.S. women's team is way more successful than the U.S. men's team. And they don't talk about it.
But there's not that aspect of like co-edness, like women can play against men, but I mean, they can. Yeah. It's just different. I don't know too much about the differences. Like, I didn't know that about wrestling, so it's pretty cool to know.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, explain to me. We're about wrapping up on here. On your video. there's your you're saying the breaks. Oh, thank you to everybody, it looks like. So
Yeah.
what's your schedule like on breaking? Do you have a set schedule? I mean, I went on one side, like I was telling you, I was really confused on what's going on. I've never actually been to that site before or to that app, and I was just kind of mind blown. I didn't know what to do. It's kind of weird. So do you have a schedule on what's not?
Actually, since I'm transitioning to the new platform, I haven't been on there lately, but usually, yes, I go on live Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Friday, sometimes Saturday, and then Sunday at 6. So
Okay. And
probably start that again soon.
so when you list your breaks for sale, do you list it mainly on eBay? Do you have a website? Do you list it on social? How do you usually market your breaks?
On Discord. So I actually have a Discord server too.
Okay.
So the link is in my bio, and like I said, I'm gonna be doing a new platform soon. I'll probably promote it on Instagram and the Discord, and yeah, the breaks will be posted on the site, and I'll also do some live auctions.
Oh, awesome. So, okay, if you are on Discord after this conversation, link me your Discord. When you get a second, I'll jump on. Discord is a completely different beast. I only know
I'm
because
still learning
Discord.
it, honestly. Like this is awesome to me, this setup. So I've just been learning it.
Yeah, it can be crazy.
Yeah.
I will tell you, it can be very, very crazy. Just make sure that you have a proper person channeling the back end of things, because there's a lot of bots on Discord. Unfortunately, there's a lot of kind of just different people. Like I've seen Discord raids and all that stuff, so it is kind of interesting how that all Discord works.
I have protections against that. I don't know how good though. So I
Yeah.
need to do more research on that.
Yeah, fortunately for me, because of gaming, I have a lot of buddies that are really well versed in Discord. So they've taught me a whole lot of stuff on Discord, on how to
You
do
have to
it.
pick your brain about some of that stuff then.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. So we're gonna wrap it up right now. What is your main social platform that you're on? Is it more TikTok? Is it more Instagram? Is it Twitter?
So Instagram is my main account where I post like my PC and the stuff that I've been doing. But TikTok, I would say I post just every day. So if you want to get to learn more about me and my everyday life, I'll definitely check me out on TikTok.
Got you. So old man moment. I had to do a FaceTime yesterday with my daughter, because I'm asking her how to do something on TikTok. And so she had to do a whole screen share with me and show me how exactly to do it. So I'm in the process of creating my actual first TikTok kind of collage. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I'll tag you in it. I'll tag you.
Well, for sure. I'll like, comment, and share. That's
Yes.
the thing. You-
Yes, but I appreciate you being on the channel and having this conversation with me. It's been really, really fun. Do you have any last parting words, Stephanie?
No, I hope to maybe join one of your breaks one time too. Do you also do them on Discord?
We don't do it. We mainly list our breaks on eBay. We stream on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, now Twitter. Unfortunately on Twitter we can't see your comments though. But we are moving to a new schedule. We mainly break on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. But we are kind of increasing the workload and going longer days on those days. But Wednesday is a new day we just added. We're actually breaking an old school product today. So right now our main focus is oh, there was a little snippet of you. See, there's you saying bye. So we mainly list our breaks like when we do exclusive through our Facebook group. So if you are on Facebook, feel free to join the group and say hi. I know Sarah has a group I think you're part of as well with Women in Cards. That's going to be another conversation for another video down the line, to kind of help promote that channel. But that's how we mainly break. We list everything on eBay, but we're going to start transitioning more, listing more Facebook or Instagram or Twitter breaks.
Okay, cool. I'll
Wait.
definitely add you guys on those channels. So
Well, yeah.
I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for having me.
No, I really enjoyed it too. So again, this is SE1. This is Stephanie of Mama Breaks, and this is Meet the Hobby, guys. Peace out.